Last week I talked about back spatter and high velocity impact spatter from a gunshot wound being deposited on a surface. The pictures were these. The picture of the shooter's hand where he shot himself. Mind you, this is present in every suicide wherever someone puts a gun right up to their head or at any blood source. The explosion causes that back spatter to come out onto the gun or the hand of the shooter. And then when the bullet exits, it deposits this high velocity spatter onto some surface nearby. Now, what we're going to talk about now is 90-degree blood droplets. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is there was a lot of talk about 90-degree blood droplets in Molly's case on the floor of the crime scene. This is what 90-degree blood droplets look like. These were made on purpose, by me, for classroom presentations when I teach crime scene and blood spatter interpretation. I have a series of cards with all different degree of angle of blood spatter, so people will understand what it looks like. Why I'm bringing it up. In this case, 90-degree blood spatter droplets, which you see here on the ground next to a car. Deputies arrived at this crime scene. They took that picture of the blood spatter on the ground, which I'm showing you here. I was not there. Crime scene was not called out to this case. They arrested the man for beating someone up that claimed he was in the house at his girlfriend's and this other man came by and assaulted him and dragged him out to the car and beat him up with a pistol. Well, he ran away when he made the phone call. The police found him a block away. The other gentleman who beat him up was still at the house with the woman of the house. They arrested him for battery, even though the woman gave them consent to come in the house to search it for a gun and for any evidence of a crime. Well, deputies went with a dog. They went in there and searched the house. They saw some blood in the house, but they paid no attention to that blood. Didn't ask how that blood got in the house if this guy was beat up outside. At any rate, the man gets arrested, and he's about to be prosecuted for battery. A serious, serious battery, because it was with a weapon. But it wasn't with a weapon. Prosecutor called me, because the gentleman had hired himself a forensic expert, and he had hired an attorney. And they had found some things that they believed was contradictory to what the deputies said and what the victim claimed. So the prosecutor said to me, would you please go to the house and conduct your own investigation, independent of the forensic expert that the defendant hired, and see what you see. And I had said, well, it's been several months. Is there going to be anything left there? I'm sure it's all gone. And she assured me that the woman of the home moved out and had not cleaned the house, and it was in the same condition that it was the night the incident occurred, except for the driveway, because the rain had washed that away. So I got to the house, and I did a search of the house, and what I discovered in the bedroom, which was very interesting, was medium impact spatter. These little dots on the mirror here, these little dots are medium impact spatter. This is the scale that I put in place for this photograph, and that's my camera in the background when I still had brown hair many years ago when I was a crime scene detective for the sheriff's department. Now mind you, this was the same agency that the deputies made the arrest from. I worked for the same agency they did. As I went through the house, I found next to this mirror a TV set. And on this TV set, there's impact spatter. It's hard to pick it up in this camera on the screen I'm showing you it on, but there is medium velocity impact spatter also on the TV. Here's a little clearer picture of the spatter on the mirror right here in the center of this scale here. You'll see this little dot. The reason I put these scales in the photographs was if I ever had to blow these up, they would be blown up exactly to that size. You take photographs of blood spatter in a 90-degree fashion with a scale in place so you can expand the picture to life size. So in other words, if this picture was ever going to be printed, it would be printed to the size of this scale. This scale is replaceable. So that dot would be the exact size it's supposed to be. Now, how did this stuff get on the mirror and on the TV set? When you punch somebody in the face and you cause them to bleed their mouth or their nose, and then you hit them again, you have medium velocity impact spatter. That occurs because you just slammed the blood source. The first time you hit it, it may not make these little droplets, but the second time you hit it, once it's bleeding, you're going to get them. And every time you hit that blood source, it's going to throw more droplets like that all over the place. The reason I bring this up is this man was wrongfully arrested, and he was almost prosecuted. And if it wasn't for my expertise in blood spatter interpretation, he would have been convicted. The blood spatter in this photograph on the mirror, I collected that. Sent it to the lab for DNA analysis. I got DNA sampling from the woman of the house, the defendant, and from the victim, the supposed victim. Well, guess whose DNA matched the blood spots on the mirror? The supposed victim. So his testimony was a lie. He was in the bedroom when the other man happened to go by. When he saw the other car out there and his girlfriend's garage door open, he became concerned for her safety. He went in and found this man standing over her bed. A fight ensued between the two of them. She was asleep at the time. She said all she heard was some scuffling and rumbling, and out the door. It was over very quickly and out the front, and then the other boyfriend, came back in the house. She had stopped seeing the other man a while before, but he decided to pay her a midnight visit without any announcement. At any rate, the fact that I'm an expert in blood spatter interpretation saved this man from going to prison, a prison sentence that could have been up to 10 years. That's the difference between doing the job properly and just doing the job to get it done. And the expert from Illinois State Police didn't do his job. And neither has anyone else in Molly Young's investigation, nor in Praveen's, because they do not have the expertise that they should have.